with the day 2 of CSS Beginner to Advanced series. A warm welcome. Please join fast. We will be completing the CSS Basics today, which will include positioning, alignment, pseudo class, and styling of forms like that. So we will be closing the CSS Basics today. Tomorrow we will be starting with Flexbox, and day after tomorrow and the last day will be the grid. Will be for grid. Please join fast. Today is the day 2 for CSS Basics, and we will be completing the basics of CSS today only. The session might extend for some time, but we will try to close. So, a warm welcome to all of you. So, this is the thing what we have completed yesterday, and today we will start with styling of forms. Later on, we will move on to positioning, alignment, pseudo class, like that. So let's start now. Okay, we have to cover a lot. People will join in the meantime also, and recording is already available in the YouTube. So I request you all to please fill the attendance form, which will be given in the last moment around 3:30 or 2:45, so that you all will be eligible for the certificates. You all have to fill the all the 5 days attendance form. Separate form will be there for all the 5 days. Not a single form is there. So please do it. So let's start now. So in order to understand the concept of styling of forms, we will be learning it in a practical way, so that you can understood what is the concept now, and how we will be going to implement it. So styling of form is that we will first create a simple form, and after that we will style it. So in order to create a form, let's before let's go for two simple things: br and HR. What is BR and HR? As you all can see, BR is break row and HR is horizontal rule. HR is a line which you all will see. I will put another line. HR, HR and BR. So BR is a space, as you all can see. Mm, 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 mm. So it will not be shown here, but as soon as we will put some content below this BR, you can get to know that. So in order to understand the styling of forms, let's create a form now. We'll have a div. We'll do one thing. We'll have form, and in this we don't require this action. We have the class. The name of the form, let's have the class name as my my form. So inside this my form, we'll have a label, and not label for control S. So as you all can see, name is there, and below this label we'll have the input type email, input type as text, and the name will be name, and ID is not required. So we'll save it. As you all can see, a box is there. So we'll do it for email, and type, sorry, and the type, where was the type, will be email, name is email. Before using this, let's have a div, and inside this div we'll move it. Guys, please do like the video. This is for you only. So we'll do one thing. Let's have a class. Form fine. So let's save it. As you all can see, name, email, and we will do one thing. Let's change the last one to message, and we will have not the input type text, we'll have text area, name is message, and fine. Now we'll do one thing. Okay, so message ID is not required, we'll have only simple the input type as submit. We'll have the input type as submit, text area name message, fine, and after that we'll have, one second, let's save it first. Okay, fine. Google message, okay, text area name message, fine. After this div, let's close it, and ID is not required here. We'll have input, where we edited input type as submit, sub input type submit, and we'll have a class, so we'll have a class as button, and name is not required. id is also not required. We'll have a field as value, value also as submit. We'll save it. See, it's working. Okay, fine. So now, as you all can see, this looks very ugly, as it's a basic purely HTML file. So now what we will do, as you can see, we have given two class, as class my form and the another class as form group. So we will do the styling of each and every class what we have assigned. So move on to style.css. Here what we will do, first copy the class name, and the second class name as for group. You can use a common style by giving a space and add multiple classes name, and have a padding bottom of 15 ppx. So as you all can see, some space has been created between the boxes, and after that let's do something more styling in this, and we'll target dot my form, and the label part we will target, and this label part will do one thing, will have a display of block that will align items one below the another. And after the label, we want to target only the text part, so we will do one thing, we will have dot my form, and input type, one second. In this you have to change the bracket, input type equals to text, comma, will have. So what we are doing here, we are targeting the type only in the class of my form, and will use another class dot my form text area, and in this we will use this one, and let's have some padding of 0px in order to align the things to the left, and we'll have width one second, Type equals to text. Fine, perfect. So padding of 0 px, and we'll have width of 100%. Save it. As you all can see, it have extended to the end. But why this thing is not completed for email? Let us see now. Email, okay. Okay, fine. We'll do one thing also. What we will do? Dot form group, and here, as you all can see, dot form group label, no, not label, will have input. Yeah, okay, perfect. So now, as you all can see, some basic styling has been completed. Now we will style our button. Here we are first giving it as top down margin of 0.2 em. Let's give it dot, dot. 1 second, let me copy the name first. It's preferred always copy the name, always copy the class. So let's do some basic styling for button. We'll have margin of 0.2 em and 0. After that we'll have padding of 0.15 px and 0.15 px. So 0.15 px means top, right, bottom and left. As you all can see, top is 0, left right at 15 px. Moving on to the border, border as none, and we'll have the text align as center, line height as 34, let's say 34 px, and we'll have a border radius, border radius 0.2 em. Okay, let's have font size also. Font size 1 r 1 rem, and let's have the color white, and the background Let's have aqua. So as you all can see, color will give as black. The button styling of button has been completed now. So this is basically the styling of form, which gives you a good look. So now we will do one thing. We'll include a hover property also in this. Dot button hover will have background. We'll have background as dark orange and have the cursor as pointer. So see, as soon as you click it, the color has been changed to dark orange. This is basically the property of hover. So moving on to the next part, I can say we will moving on to the next part. Yeah, hi Animesh. Attendance form will be given in the last, sir. We will not be giving attendance in the first. Before 10 to 15 minutes, we will give you the attendance form. This will be a separate attendance form comparing to day first. Every attendance form is different, so you need to fill all attendance form. It's an automated process. The system software will send automatically the attendance. So now we will be let's start alignment and floating in this. So as this is a old concept, but still you all need to know what is it, how to use it, how to use alignment, how to use floating. This thing has been replaced by grid and textbox now. So in this, in order to understand alignment and floating, let's do some basics. What basic coding for this in order to understand the concept. So for this, let's create a div and we'll have the class as block. Inside this block, we'll have h6 and inside this h6 we'll have heading 6. And after that, we'll have a paragraph tag. We'll have a lorem 15 dummy text, and we'll do one thing. Let's minimize it, and we will do. Let's copy it for Control C, Control V. So let's change the heading 6. This one is 8. This one is 7. So heading 6, 7, 8. Save it. As you all know, displays a block level element. So it has put all the things one below the another. So let's divide this into the page in 3 columns, and we will see how to do it. As assuming the 100% of the space, how to divide 33.33% space to each of the column, each of the heading what we have mentioned. So in order to use this, we will do one thing. We will have a property as float left and float right. So we will do one thing. We will assign the class what we have given as block dot block, and will have float left, and the width we will be giving so as you all can see, it has used the available space of 33.3% of the screen of one part. So now all the blocks are occupied by 33.3% of the page space. As you might have seen from above, that the HR after the block div was missing. So in order to get the things appear again, we will be using a property called as clear fix. So for this, we have to give a empty div with a class as clear fix, and in this we will insert this into the style. Let me copy the class name, Control C, clear both. So now you can see all the HRs and BRs are visible now. So we'll have the next part as in case if we have only two of the columns, as earlier it was three. Now in case if we have only two of the columns and we want these columns to use 50% of the screen, how to use it? So let me do one thing. Let me copy this, or I will do one thing. One sec. Let me disable one. Where is the div? There's the div. We'll comment out this one thing. Save it. Okay. Now we'll have the width as 50%. So as you all can see, the available screen size is being shared by both of the items in this way. So there is also a method in which if you want something to give more space compared to the second thing, there is a property to shift the thing as per to the compared thought. So for this, let's do some basic styling, and for that we will do one thing. We will delete it and increase the lorem size to 50. Okay, perfect. So as you all can see, this first lorem have the more content compared to the second one. So we will do one thing. Let's give let's change the class name also. Let's do it main block, and let's give it as side block. So now what has happened, they have compared, they have adjusted automatically, but we need to change, them in the desired manner. So what we will be doing now, just see it. So this one we have given as main block, and the other one we have given as a side block. So now what we want this to use the available space of 70%, and we want float right, and we want this part to use the available space of 1 second 30%. See, this is a thing what I want to know, what I want to tell you. You can also do vice versa, as 30% and 30%. The space over left is being used blank. This have moved to the left, this have moved to the right. So now it is being shown properly. So now let's have some padding and border to it, so that they will look some more handsome. 15 px, but after giving the padding, it will align themselves in the next direction. Why? Because we have created some space around the content, but there is an option to fix it. We'll show you what is it. Let's give the padding also here. Yes, perfect. We'll have the border of 1 px solid, and we'll have the color as black. Save it. So it's in the border box, but what to do for the second one? So we'll use it the same thing for the second one also, but the things, as you all can see, is messed up now. So in order to fix it, we will use another property of box sizing border box. So it will fix the things automatically. See, as the content is large, so the size of this box is below it, but it have adjusted automatically. This is the thing what we want to tell you using alignment and positioning. Sorry, alignment and floating. In case anyone have any doubt, they can ping us. But let me tell you one thing. Today we will be completing the CSS basics. Tomorrow we will be starting with CSS Flexbox. Day after tomorrow and day after tomorrow and day after tomorrow, and the last week we will be completing the grid. So please be attentive. Please be present. We will be issuing a certificate to all the, and let me tell you one thing once more. We will be issuing a free certificate. It is not at all chargeable to all the candidates who have attended this session. The content will be present in the YouTube, as it's a live YouTube. So now moving on to the next thing, which is positioning. As what is positioning? Positioning is how to position your content in the web page, to the left, to the right, or how you can fix it, how you can position it from the content, or how you can position it from the top of the page. This we will be learning in this. So there are four types of positioning: static, relative, absolute, and fixed. Static is what the normal behavior of the content, what it will be using it. It's a static. Now, in order to understand all the four types of positioning, let's create some divs and then we will tell you with the help of examples. So now we'll have again a div, and inside this div we'll have h1, h1 have CSS, and we'll have h2. We'll again have h2 crash course. So save it. CSS here. See here. Okay. As we have given previously h1 and h2, so we need to, 1 second. One second. So moving on to the index, we will do one thing. Let's move on to what we will do. Let's comment out the entire thing now. Okay, so focus on this CSS and crash course only. So now what we have done, we have created a div. Inside this div we have h1 and h2 tags, and we have the h1 as CSS and h2 as CSS crash course. So let's create a class as position box inside it, and we'll have, save it, and let's copy the class name, Control-C, and we will okay. So let's do something. Let's have width as 100%, and after that let's assign the height as 100 or 500 px, and after that let's have a border box of 1 px solid of green color. So as you all can see, we have created a box. Inside this box we have two of the h1s. So by default they are using their static property. Now in order to change this from static we will be using the position absolute dot, position box h1 position is absolute, and what it will do, it will move the content from top to 40 px. So as you all can see, the h1 has moved from 40 px top, but what they did, they have treated this, the top of the page, as the parent. So they have calculated from this top to 40 px down. But what we want, we are looking to move this from this border to 40 px down. So for this, we will be using a separate property which is called as position relative. So as you all can see earlier, that this CSS was above the crash course, but now using the applying the position property as relative, it has come below the CSS. As if you can give 80 ps, it has come more below the CSS, more below the crash course. So using this, you can align or you can move this to left right also. Let us check it out how. So as you all can see, we have given h1 and h2. Okay, no, fine. So now we'll align h2 and we will do one thing, we'll move from left. So as you all can see, this I have started moving from left to left towards right, and we will do one thing, let's move from bottom also. So it has moved from bottom towards the top to 80 px. So using this property, the position relative, you can move the content in the web page or inside a box like this. Now we have the last property in positioning as fixed. So let us check out how you will be using this fixed property. For this, let's create a button now. And we'll have the class of this button as button, and we will do one thing, button, we'll give another class fixed button. Save it. As you all can see, this button has created with the name of the button as fixed button. So now we will fix it. So now let's copy the class name as fixed button, Control C, and what we will be doing, we will assign the position as fixed, and from top we will fix one second to 80 px. So what does this mean? This means that from the top, the position of this button is fixed. Let me show you why. See, it is fixed now. This is the example of position with fix. So we have completed the positioning part now. Now we will be moving on to the last topic. Hi Priti Rekha. Hope you have attended the first class also, and today also you are there. So today we will be completing the CSS basics, and tomorrow we will be doing the CSS Flexbox part. So now the most important part, what CSS basics have, is the background images. So we will do one thing. Let's have, where is the folder? Inside this, let's create a folder as images, and inside this images we will do one thing. We will download some images. We will download some free images. It is free. What is the size? Let's download it. Show in folder. What we will do, we will one second. We will move it to our desired folder, and we will rename it flower. So as you all can see, let's insert it. As you all can see, we have created a folder, so it has started reflecting it, and the image is there. So we will do one thing. The flower image is okay, fine, perfect. So moving on to the index part. Now what we will do, inside this position box, what we have created this, we will be inserting the image or the background image will have the path, and this is the image. But where is the image? The image is not coming properly, as the size of the image is big, is large. So in order to fix it, we will have a property of the background images, background repeat, no repeat. So is it coming? Is it not coming? So for this, we will have another property. Will have the background size as cover. So is it coming? Is it again not coming? We'll figure it out. There is a property. We will do one thing. The box what we have created. 1 second. 500%. 1 second. 1 second. Background image we have given it, and let's do one thing. One second. Why the image is not coming? See why? Because the size what we have created, the box size what we have created is not as per the image size. Because as you all can see, the image is vertically, but we have created the size of the box as horizontally. That's why. So now moving on to the last topic, which is the pseudo class. What is pseudo class? So in order to understand the concept, let's create a basic div, and inside this div, or we will do one thing, not required. Let's have an ordered list. Inside this, let's have li into 6 times. Okay, so inside this we'll have item 1, or I will do one thing, delete it, control C, save it. So as you all can see in the last, these things are created now. Okay, fine. So now let's have the class as my list. So copy it, and moving on to the style.css. So what we will do in pseudo class, we will target the first child or the last child and the nth child in order to target it. So let me show you how we will be targeting this. This is the class name, and in li let's have nth child, or we will do one thing, let's have the first child. What has happened? First child will have the background one second, my list li, Background of this one will have as orange. Save it. Orange, fine. Now we will target the Control C last child, and for this we will have purple Peru color. This is a Peru color. So now let's target the fourth child. Dot my list, nth child, we will give the number 4, and after that the background color, let's have some different color, coral. Save it. Coral color is not coming. One second, let me change the color. Let's have the red one. We are targeting li, so inside this li we have to use it. So targeting different child, you can give different colors. So there is another property where we can use target the things odd or evenly. So in order to show, let me have another li, and we'll change this dynamic list, and let's copy the name as dynamic, the class name. Now we will target the odd one and the even one. So how to use it? Dynamic li nth child, and we'll have even, background as orange, one second, I have not saved it. So now as you all can see, the even ones are into the orange, and we will have the li, one second, nth child, the odd one, let's give the color as pink. So as you all can see, this thing will appear in an odd even platform. So by this we have completed the CSS basics. You all are requested to please fill the attendance form. ये सुशांत Saud BG position 100%. I didn't get you. Okay. So you want to tell when we are fixing this pixel. So we did it, na. So tomorrow we will be completing. We will be doing the CSS Flexbox, and you all are requested to please make yourself comfortable at 2:30 p.m. Sharp 2:30 we will start it, and it will be a single day plan for Flexbox. So be with us. Thank you. Have a nice day. Same to you.